All right, what's up, everybody? Thank you for coming today. We're excited to have you here. Dave and I are in the same room with our esteemed colleague, Mark, and we're here at the JourneyTEAM office in South Jordan, Utah. If you want, go ahead and throw into the chat window where you're calling in from. We'd love to know. But anyway, we're sitting here in our office, and there's a leather couch in this office. It looks super comfortable, but I want to let you know that I am standing up for you. I'm on duty right now. Dave might go over there on the couch, he said, in a minute. But I'm going to be on my feet presenting for you today. We're excited to have you here. Now, one thing I want to ask you is I'm going to be present in here with you today. Would you also be present? I know that we have a tendency to want to multitask, but if you've read the studies and the research, we all know that multitasking is really not a real thing. For the next 45 minutes, we're going to be giving you some really great information about AI and bots that can help your company capture the value that's coming in this new wave of technology. Be present here for 45 minutes. We started on time. We're going to end on time. We're not going to take up more of your time than you committed. So as we get started, there are two quotes that I really want to talk about, and they kind of illustrate where we're going with AI and bots. And the first one comes from Andreessen Horowitz, who is one of the premier venture capital firms in Silicon Valley, especially as far as thought leadership goes. And the thing that they've been saying for years is that software eats the world. Have you ever heard that phrase from them? And what they mean by that is that software is really infiltrating every part of our lives, of our economy, of our businesses and companies. And we've seen that happen, right? I mean, at an accelerating pace. And the second quote I want to share with you is really saying the same thing. It's from Microsoft, where, you know, for many years, actually, since my early days there, they were talking about how every company is becoming a software company. And their favorite, during my time there, the favorite example of that was an elevator company called ThyssenKrupp, and maybe you've heard them talk about this story before, but ThyssenKrupp has sensors in all their elevators where they can actually now predict when a part on an elevator is going to break. And so before it actually happens, they can go replace it, so there's no downtime for that elevator. And so it's so valuable to that company that they are now more a software company than they are an elevator company. Pretty amazing. So that's been an incredible change that we've seen in our lifetimes, where software has become so infiltrated and so integrated into every part of our businesses and our lives. And what we're going to share today about AI and bots is really, we're talking about a technology that is going to have an equal impact. As a matter of fact, there's a man named, let's go to the next slide here. If you've seen some of these demos lately, Google just did a demo where a bot could make a haircut appointment for you. And there are companies using AI to build drones that can actually clear buildings where there might be terrorist insurgents. And so from everything from making a haircut appointment to like special forces operations, AI and bots are at the forefront of those changes. Yeah, here we go. So half of consumers that were polled recently said that they interact with digital assistants on a regular basis, and that they expect that will continue in the future, and that they're totally, okay with that. That's something that they are comfortable with and they want to happen. And so on the right-hand side of your screen there, you can see a couple examples of bots that you might have used before, and these are becoming more and more common in the lives of everyday consumers. When it comes to businesses and their implementation of AI and bots, this Oracle study found that 80% of sales and marketing leaders are using AI and bots today, or will be in the next year and a half. And if you think about that, if you extrapolate, the broader economy from the group that they studied here, that's a pretty startling statistic, that 80% of sales and marketing organizations and companies would be using this technology within the next year and a half. So the adoption is happening quickly. So before we really dive into, what that looks like, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to these terms that we're using. I know in our audience today, we probably have some people who are only vaguely familiar with what these things mean, and we probably have some other people who are, have a deeper understanding of these terms. But let's go over these really quickly. I want to talk about 3 terms, and they're all related, and they actually build upon each other. The first term is machine learning. Now, this is a common phrase that we use in technology today, and a lot of times it's misused. But I want to just kind of define this broadly. Machine learning is a program that looks at past data or the results of past actions and statistically decides what the optimized next action would be to achieve the desired result. And so there's a lot of complicated statistics that go into machine learning, but it's actually a very simple concept if you just take a step back. It looks at data from the past and uses that to make the best decision to get the desired result in the future. And the next term I want to talk about is artificial intelligence. Now, machine learning is necessary for artificial intelligence to actually function. There would be no AI without ML, in other words. And artificial intelligence is when a program, an autonomous program, actually mimics human intelligence. And so if we go back to the example of the elevator company, ThyssenKrupp, where they have a program that's monitoring data from all these sensors in every elevator they have in the world, that's a really powerful program, but that's not AI. It uses machine learning for sure to look at data about when these different elevators, when the parts had broken in the past and when it was likely that the next one would break. That's deeply using machine learning to do that functionality. But then there's not a human being that did that before, right? And so it's not artificial intelligence because it's not mimicking human intelligence. Some examples of artificial intelligence are things like image recognition. So when a computer program can look at an image and actually recognize a face, can say, hey, that's Andy, or hey, that's Dave in that picture, or that's a dog, that's artificial intelligence because that's something that humans do. When it comes to, there's another example is natural language processing. So taking a natural language query and being able to look at a sentence and say, I know what this person means when they say this. That's artificial intelligence, because obviously that's something that we do all the time. And the most prominent, the most relevant and pertinent form of artificial intelligence today, especially as it comes to the conversation we're going to have about the enterprise business value of artificial intelligence, is the chatbot. And we're going to say bot for short. Now, there are other terms that mean the same thing, like virtual assistant or digital assistant, chatbot. Those all mean the same thing. And what it is, this is a, I'm sorry, let me go back to the slide. This is just a interface that you can have a conversation with, and as you would have a conversation with a human being, and it's powered by artificial intelligence, and it gets smarter all the time. Now, artificial intelligence is not a new concept. As a matter of fact, the term artificial intelligence was actually coined in the 1950s, and it was a designation of a type of study in the computer science, field of study. And, we have this picture on the screen that's been, artificial intelligences have been part of our fiction for many years. It even went back before Star Wars. There were science fiction authors writing about artificial intelligences and intelligent robots and things like that. So why all the hype now? 68, 78 years later, why all the hype about artificial intelligence, and why are we talking about it so much today? Well, the answer is because our technology has finally reached the point where this is really a reality, where we can actually do a lot of the things that we've been writing stories about and imagining for so long. So we're living at a really exciting time in the history of this technology, because we're the first ones to actually see this happen in real life. So when we talk about chatbots, I want to define that a little bit better. So what is a bot? Well, there on your screen, you have two examples of bots that I bet everybody on the call has interacted with. If you haven't ever had a conversation with Cortana or Alexa, you should put that in the chat window here in our webcast. That would be interesting to know. But I bet everybody has interacted with one of these two. Okay, a chat, and these are really the two of the smartest bots in the world with two of the widest knowledge domains. You can have a conversation with these two bots about almost anything. You probably asked Cortana to tell you a joke. Siri's another example, but not as smart as Cortana. But tell me a joke, Cortana, or Cortana, tell me about the political situation in Russia. Like she generally will tell you something about anything that you ask. So bots are intelligent and conversational. Those are really the two defining characteristics of a bot. Okay, their interface is driven by machine learning and artificial intelligence. So it's a way for you to interact with a computer program, and it's intelligent and conversational. So I'm going to dive into each one of those, and I'm going to actually add one other attribute as it pertains to the business value that we're going to be talking about today. So they're intelligent. They use machine learning. Now, it's been possible for years for you to call, let's say you were calling a financial institution, a big financial institution, and you would get a voice response system on the phone that would say something like, "Thank you for calling. What would you like to do today?" You can say things like, "Check my balance," or "Make a payment." I mean, and we've all had those conversations, right? I want to draw a distinction here. That was not the kind of bot that we're talking about today. That was really a menu-driven program that it was really no different than going to that financial institution's website and choosing a list of options from a menu, choosing an option and having it take you to that web page. It was a rules-driven interaction, and it was just a voice interface that you were using to interact with that program, but it wasn't an intelligent program. It wasn't artificial intelligence. Okay. Today, when we talk about, having a conversation with a bot, it's using natural language and the bot can actually take that conversation in a multitude of directions based on what it perceives you were asking for or what you're trying to talk about. It wasn't a menu that was programmed by a programmer who wrote a bunch of if-then statements. It's actually using machine learning, which is not a decision tree that somebody programmed in the background. Okay, and it's conversational. It's text or voice interaction with a human being. Okay, so for our purposes today, when we say chatbot, we're not talking about an algorithm that does amazing stuff in the background and spits out analytics and reports and all that stuff. A bot can do that, but the defining characteristic of a chatbot is that it can have a conversation with you and me as if it were a human being. And the closer it can get to mimicking human conversation, the better. Okay, finally, this is the attribute that I would like to add. It's connected. Okay, so a chatbot is using data from our enterprise systems to fuel its own intelligence, to learn, and to take action in helping the person that it's talking to. So a bot can process an order for a customer. It can open a customer service case for a customer. It can change a shipping address. It can do all these things that a human would do if they were on the phone with this person, and it can do it autonomously. And that's where a lot of this value comes from. So today, we have real value being delivered by bots like today. This is not theoretical anymore. This is actually happening at companies all over the world. We can serve customers more economically. Now think about a bot that can have 1,000 conversations at one time without any degradation in performance versus a call center staffed with 1,000 people. The bot is definitely the more economical choice for serving those people. Those people now can be deployed in ways that are more valuable than sitting in front of a screen and reading a script. We can also serve customers more quickly. Okay, a bot, there are several reasons a bot is faster. When you talk to a bot, you never get the message that says, we're experiencing an unusually high volume of calls right now. Your call will be answered in the order in which it was received. That just doesn't happen when you're text messaging or instant messaging with a bot, or even having a voice conversation with a voice automated bot. And a bot doesn't have to swivel between 3 different business support systems, and a bot never has to get the information that it's looking for, and a bot never has to pass me to another department because I called the wrong department. So it can do a lot of things. Like, there are a lot of reasons why a bot is just faster than a human support rep. And also, we can increase customer satisfaction, because obviously if we can go faster and we can get them the right answers to their questions, that increases customer satisfaction. What's less intuitive is that we can increase revenue as well. And that's because when a bot is connected to business systems and it knows how people respond to offers that it makes, anytime it's having a conversation with somebody, it can make them an offer, a sales offer, and using its machine learning capabilities, it can make the offer that that person is most likely to accept at that point in time. So the cross-sell or the upsell, it can learn and consistently increase its close rate of those types of offers. And it can make those offers every time it talks to somebody if you want it to. So the bottom line, as customers are demanding, and this is happening because of the generation that's coming into power in the marketplace, they demand to have text rather than voice conversations, and they demand that companies interact with them on multiple different channels. So they demand that. It started, decades ago with Twitter, when people, not decades ago, about a decade ago, got a little excited there. A decade ago with Twitter, when people started wanting to interact with, customer support via Twitter. And I remember I'd do this with Comcast when my internet would go out, and that happened pretty frequently back then. My internet would go out and I would tweet to Comcast and they'd, reset something on their site and it would come back on. And now it's not just Twitter, it's like every channel that this generation wants to use, companies are having to interact with those customers on that channel. And so because of these two trends, like, bots are really critical to a company's ability to stay on top of these things and give their customers what they're looking for. So with that background, I want to dive in and do some use cases. Okay, these are hypothetical use cases that are really illustrating some real things that companies are doing today. As we go through these, think about your own company and how you might be able to utilize some of these things in your business and in your company. Okay, these are maybe just things that can spark a little bit of a thought in that area. Okay, so let's talk about Miko. Now, Miko is a fairly new customer of True Beauty, which is a company that operates primarily through their own branded e-commerce channel. It's a beauty company, so they sell beauty supplies. And Miko has subscribed to several products from True Beauty and has never really complained about their products or services before. Now, as we jump to this next screen, before I go into the conversation, I just want to point out that this screen is designed to kind of look like Facebook Messenger. And all of the use cases I'm going to show you here, they're like this. They look like Facebook Messenger. That's one of the channels that a bot can operate in. But a bot can really operate in multiple channels. And so whether it's text messaging or, other apps like Snapchat or Kik or Skype or, a conversation box that shows up on a company's website, a bot can operate through all of these channels at the same time. And so these conversations, we're kind of like showing this in Facebook Messenger. That's the channel that these bots are operating in. So Miko says she has a problem with her order. And the bot immediately recognizes what she means by that statement and says, "I'm sorry." And because it's connected to the business support systems at the company, it knows that Miko was recently shipped an item of mascara from a batch that has had multiple complaints. So this batch, probably had a problem. And the bot knows this because of its connection to that data. And it immediately suggests, hey, is it this mascara that you're having a problem with? She says, yes, that is the problem. And the bot says, you're not the only one. I'm going to ship you a new one. And this bot also understands the lifetime value of a customer. It understands the profitability of each of their products, and it knows that it can offer Miko a value added deal right now, an offer to her where she can leave this call with a better experience, where this, the company still makes a small profit on this, and they'll retain Miko for a longer period of time. Just give her an experience that will make her, a more valuable customer. So the bot offers her the Max Color Premium Lip Transformer for 50% off, and says it can add it to this shipment. And she says, yes, please. And so it confirms that interaction. It charges her card, and it tells her when the shipment will arrive. Okay, so I want to break down a couple of the value points in this scenario. We're only going to do this for this first one, and you'll be able to recognize these value points in the next use cases that we talk about. But first of all, this bot was using natural language processing. That's one of the things that is possible with AI. So it quickly understood right away what Miko was talking about, and it initiated a quick path to a resolution. So Miko didn't have to press a button that said, I have a problem with an order, so that the bot could understand it. She just said that in her own language, and the bot understood and took her in the right direction. And quickly solved the problem, because the next point is it was connected to CRM and ERP. So it knew about this potential issue, and it identified it right away, asked her if that was the problem. And then because of that connection to CRM and ERP or other business support systems, it's able to reship the product, offer a discount on the upsell or cross-sell that it gave her, and then complete that order as well. And then finally, this bot is collecting CX data, customer experience data. Okay, it's useful for future analysis and interactions. So remember, this bot uses data to learn. And so it captured the fact that, for example, Miko said the mascara was clumpy. And is that data, can it be cross-referenced with data from, the systems that might say, what was different about this batch? Was there something, did we put in different ingredients? Did we accidentally make a mistake when we were mixing this batch? And also it knows that, from the customer experience data, it knows that Miko accepted this upsell immediately. And so it can use that data to offer her an upsell next time. Okay, use case number 2, Michael. Michael is a frequent traveler. He's been a member of the loyalty program of the Lux Suite International Hotel chain for several years. And he just completed a stay. And as he's checking out, the bot messages him. Now, bots are not allowed to spam people. And so, mass outbound messaging isn't something that we really do with bots. But Michael, as I said, he's been a member of this loyalty program for years. And he's interacted with this bot in the past. This bot has permission to message Michael. And so the bot reaches out and says, how is your stay at our hotel? And the bot intelligently recognizes the items in Michael's response that relate to the hotel room, the things that relate to the service that they provided. So here it's the bed, the view, and the room service. And so the bot asks for more details on the aspects of Michael's stay that he brought up in his feedback. Okay, and in certain channels for a bot, these kinds of interaction widgets are possible. So it gives him these widgets and says, rate each of those things. And when he rates the bed low, gives it a low score for the bed, the bot apologizes and says, look, because you took time to give us feedback, next time you check in, your experience is going to automatically improve. And here's a coupon code for free dessert next time you get a room service. So Michael's excited about that. But what we just did is we took customer experience feedback from Michael, and we automated the execution of that feedback in our business support systems. So because we know Michael's preferences on bed and view, next time he checks in, we can actually look at the list of available rooms and give him the room that is optimized for his preferences. Okay, so that's powerful. If we can, we're not going to go deep into the personalization powers of bots and AI today, but when you can use a bot in this manner to give Michael the best experience for Michael, like think about without AI, what it would take to actually accomplish that. It would almost be impossible. But with this bot's learning abilities and then the ability to automate the actions in the business support systems, you can give every customer a better customer experience every time they give you feedback. Okay, use case number 3. Taylor is a millennial and avid exerciser, and she's a regular customer of the Power RX supplement company. Now, she just saw an advertisement when she's watching television, and the advertisement had 2 options. You can call our 800 number, or you can message us on Facebook. We're going to give you 3 of these things for the price of 1. Taylor is a millennial, as I mentioned, so she would greatly prefer Facebook Messenger over an 800 number. She makes contact with the bot and asks for the deal. And again, the bot knows what she's talking about. Says, yeah, you can get that deal using the business support systems and its integration with that data. It says, let me verify your shipping address. Is this correct? She confirms. Then it says, I'm going to go verify your payment information that we have on file. And this bot is a sales bot. So while it's checking the payment information, it's going to make her an offer. Okay. And it has access to Taylor's purchase history because, again, of its CRM or ERP connections. And it has access to all the records of the products sold since the implementation of this bot. And so using that intelligence, it can offer Taylor an upsell that is most relevant for her, that she's most likely to accept at this time. So it offers her some carbo loader pre-workout powder and gives her a $10 off, offer on that, and she accepts. And so the bot adds it to the order. And the bot is a good salesperson. It knows never to stop selling while the customer is still saying yes. And so it then offers her some blender bottles with the Power RX logo on them, and offers her all 3. There are 3 sizes. It's a compelling offer. She accepts that one as well. And then the bot makes another offer. She finally says no. And so the bot closes the order, tells her when the shipment will arrive, and tells her to enjoy the products. And she says thank you. So that's the end of that conversation. And here's the value of what just happened. The bot increased the order value from $9.99 at the start to $69.97. It did that very economically. It could have been having 500 of these conversations at once. And it did it with a high level of statistical information that helped it get its close rate as high as possible. So you can imagine running this ad and then having this bot answer 500 phone calls or 500 text message streams as the responses to that ad come in, and doing this on 30% of those conversations, for example, like that is huge value. Okay, so those are all pretty basic examples of a bot operating inside a customer interaction channel and using some business data to get stuff done in a way a human being would. Now, I want to look at one more use case, which is a little bit more advanced, but still, is still really pretty practical. So Michael, we're going to go back to him. And we looked at the feedback and how he gave feedback to a bot a minute ago, and the bot was able to automate the improvement of his customer experience. Now let's look at an expanded scenario. This bot has learned deeply from the customers, and it's had lots of interactions that have built trust with Michael. So Michael has communicated with this bot back and forth for a while now. It can now do things that are even more valuable. So the LuxSuite bot proactively reaches out to Michael, and it wants to find out when he's traveling next. Right now, this hotel chain knows that Michael, he travels a lot. He probably has loyalty memberships with multiple different hotel chains, and they know that they're competing just to get as much of his travel share as possible. And so the objective of this conversation now is simply to capture his business on his next trip. So they ask, Michael, when are you traveling next? Where are you going? You know, he gives them the city and the dates of his travel, and they say specifically, where are you going to be in Los Angeles? And he says Hollywood. And so the Lux Suite bot can now give Michael a few options in the area where he'll be visiting. And so he can scroll through this list of options and see the properties on a map if he wants to, so he can compare to where he's going to be, you know, doing business or where he's going to be going. He can drill into each option to see more details. He can call the front desk if he has questions specifically about them. It's also possible that the bot could answer those questions itself. And this bot has given Michael everything he needs to book a hotel room right now. Now, when I used to do a lot of corporate travel, like say for example at Microsoft, we had an application that we had to book our travel through, and we got special pricing with, you know, all the different hotel chains that we had agreements with, and those were the chains that we needed to stay at if we were going to travel. And this bot could be tuned to know all of that stuff about Michael. So, you know, here on the screenshot, we have the Gold Lux member rate. It could also be a corporate rate if it's connected to, you know, the agreements that the bot or the company that Lux Suite has with Michael's company. You can see the value here. This is completely autonomous. We're now capturing more of Michael's business next time and building and deepening a relationship with him by offering him real value, because this probably just saved him half an hour. If it was me, it would have taken half an hour to book that hotel room. That's what it always did. And so the bot closes the conversation, says, I'll do my best, reminds him, we're going to optimize this room based on your previous preferences, so you can expect a better experience next time than you did last time. We're always trying to make your experience better. Here's your check-in, check-out. Here's the address, and I'm going to, you know, the bot will message him the day of this trip to just get this information right in front of him again. So the bot, you know, it could also upsell Michael on some amenities now, get him a trip to the spa while he's there or whatever to increase the revenue of this interaction. There are lots of ways the bot could go from here. But as this fabric grows, as this bot learns and moves into more and more areas of interaction with customers, the value of the bot just increases exponentially. And the human labor that you have at your company can now scale and achieve more through the use of this artificial intelligence. Okay. So that's the end of the use cases. This might be a good time to, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Andy. So this is Dave Ballard again. We're going to go ahead and launch a poll out here. And the question is, where is your organization at in regards to AI and bots today? And I'm going to keep that open for a little bit. And for those that are just joining us or didn't catch us in the beginning, we are doing a $50 gift card giveaway for those that participate in the polls. You know, Microsoft is spending big dollars on this right now. If you've watched any of the commercials or TV, you'll notice that Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, everybody, this is a huge wave of technology. So go ahead and answer the questions there. If you can see the poll, where is your organization at in regards to AI and bots today? And I'll keep it open for a few more seconds. We'll do about 10 more seconds or so. But it has been amazing. I mean, I watch the NBA games or whatever else it is, and I see commercials all over the place about AI and bots.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. It truly is the next wave of technology change that's like, we won't even recognize a lot of the things that we do with computers today. Like it'll be, if you were to fast forward 10 years, you'd just be blown away at how it's going to change the way that we interact with businesses and with each other and with the technology that we use.
All right, Andy, I'm just sharing the results right now. So the organization, where's your organization at in regards to AI and bots today? About 20% said we want to learn more about the technology. 60% said considering AI and bots in our organization to talk about it. And then 20% said that they are pursuing it right now and looking for planning.
Awesome.
Okay. Would you like me to answer 2 more of the polls and stuff? You want me to go through those right now?
Yeah, let's leave the last one for the end, but then, okay. Yeah, you can do
it. One more question. I'm going to go ahead and put another poll out right now. this poll question is, based on what you've learned today, what are the top areas where AI and bots do you feel could help your organization immediately? I know for me, from a marketing perspective, there are so many automated sales and marketing campaigns that would just be amazing. Like the example you gave where they're upselling them and you have 400 to 500 of those transactions going on at the same time. That's a huge profitability for the company that they could do. So I'm going to leave this poll question open for another 20 seconds or so, and then we'll share some of the results. But you're right. Depending on what industry you're at, there's already case studies that Microsoft is building currently, or there's some specifics that we could create as a technology company.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to close the poll and share it with everybody. And here are the results, Andy. You want to go over that?
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like 80% of people are looking at customer service scenarios for call center help and automation. Now this doesn't add up to 100% because you could choose multiple. We had customer service, website, and knowledge-based assistance is at 60%. So 60% of you are interested in that. And then we have sales for smart interactions, 20%. Marketing and ongoing engagement is 60%. And then there are 20% other. And we're going to have a time to converse a little bit at the end where you can ask questions. And, if you want to put the other scenarios you're looking at in your chat window, just for the edification of the audience here, we could share that as well. So feel free if you'd like to. Okay, so let me know if anything like that comes through, Dave, and then we'll just forge ahead. Okay, we're done with our use cases. And now just a couple closing thoughts. Number one, you must start here to get there. We have a picture of a map on the screen here where people are kind of mapping out a trip they're going to take. And we love those kinds of metaphors here at JourneyTEAM because we're all about the technology journey and where we're actually going. It's not technology for the sake of technology, but technology to actually get us to a new and incredible place in our businesses, in our lives, and in the things that we can do for our customers. So I want to point out here that AI and the skills to expose it via conversational interfaces, these are assets that grow over time. Now, we know all about, ERP and CRM and that kind of data, those kind of data systems at our business, and we are completely familiar with the approach that a lot of businesses will take, which is I'm going to wait to implement new features. I'm going to wait to get on the bus with new technology. And there's a challenge with AI and bots that I want to point out here that makes it a little bit different. AI and bots are a skill that grows over time, not only because the artificial intelligence that you build, it has to learn and it will get smarter and smarter over time, but also because you as a company need to develop the muscle to implement it properly over time. Now, obviously, we're a technology consulting company. We're here to help with that. But even so, your organization needs to know how to strategically use AI, how to do the supervision of the data processing and the decisions that it's making. So it's supervised AI. That means as it learns, you're kind of monitoring it and keeping it between the rails. And you need to know how to best use it with your customer base. Like there's a lot of learning that goes through here. So if company A starts today and company B wants to wait 5 years and say, I'll just drop it in 5 years, they're going to be 5 years behind company A. And so you have to start here to get there. And as most of you have said, you're kind of considering, you're in conversations and consideration about AI at your company. The biggest piece of advice I could give you is to get started and you can get started small. It doesn't have to be big, right? But the sooner you take some sort of action to get AI going at your company, the faster you'll start learning and the faster you'll be able to start adapting. There was a quote I considered including here from a man named Brian Arthur, who is one of the premier economists of our generation when it comes to the technology industry and the tech economy. And he said that number one, the great news is he thinks that the way that this technology excuse me, the way this technology is changing industries and changing the global economy. He believes that the U.S. economy is going to continue to do very well. And then he says, this is a startling comment. He said, what we're going to see is that the big industries are going to be reorganizing themselves along the lines of autonomous intelligence. It's like just an incredible thought. One of the premier economists is saying that our major industries are going to completely shift to accommodate the technology we've been talking about today. So think about the transportation industry, for example, and what we've seen predicted when it comes to self-driving cars and how that's going to change everything from the business model for automobile manufacturers to the way that car ownership works. I mean, and all of this because of artificial intelligence. And think about what that might do in your industry. Great idea to get started today and start building this muscle. So scenarios to target. Again, like this is really the low-hanging fruit, and this is where we really want to focus our energy starting out, because you don't want to go after some kind of ethereal use case right off the bat without nailing the value that's right in front of your face today. And that's one of the things that we advise as a consulting firm, is to start with the real value. And then over time, as you build that muscle, it can get more and more complex and more aspirational. So we look at labor-intensive interactions with customers, like customer care or inside sales. Okay, like that is super low-hanging fruit. Out of all of these, that's why it's bolded. It's the one where you can see immediate value, and it's a pretty straightforward path to implement. Personalized marketing is another one. Ongoing customer engagement is another. We saw some examples of those things in our use cases today. Just remember, you have to start here to get there. So be wise about this. Part of what we're trying to teach you today on this call is to be that business person in your company or industry who understands the hype, also understands, the naysayers and how they're wrong, and just knows how to make wise decisions when it comes to AI at your company and in your industry. There's a great opportunity for anybody who wants to, whether business or technical, to become a leading voice in your company or your industry if you just know what you're talking about when it comes to AI. So that's going to wrap it up. We have the poll that we want to close up with, so make sure you hang around for that. Here's what we'd like to offer you here at the end of this webcast. You've spent this time with us. We appreciate your attention and your time. We hope that this has been really valuable to you, as it has been for us. This has just been an incredible experience to spend this time with you. We'd like to offer you a free 2-hour AI and bot evaluation. So this is a completely pro bono meeting where we bring some of our bot minds to you. We need to meet with some decision makers on the business side and some people on the technology side who really know the systems. And we'll have this 2-hour meeting, and what we'll do at the end is deliver a report that has our findings on the business evaluation, the technical evaluation. So we talk about what are some of the areas of your business where this would have the most value for you based on what we discussed in our conversation, and then how would you be able to use the business systems that you have in use today? How would the data from those systems play into this? We give you that report, and also a couple of next steps on moving forward if you wanted to deploy that. Now, that's whether you ever talk to us again. There's literally no risk to taking advantage of this offer, because at the end of the day, it's free, and all you get from it is increased information and intelligence for your business. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Dave to finish up with our polls. And thank you for your time, everybody. It's been a pleasure being here with you today.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody, I did put in the chat window, I put a link in there for what Andy was talking about. This goes directly to Microsoft.com. We are one of Microsoft's key partners around AI and bots. And if you click on that link, you'll see what he was talking about the intelligent language chatbot briefing. But it'll go over what we do. And what we do in those meetings is we do something called a journey map, which is a short-term and a long-term technology roadmap on how to leverage the best tools out of artificial intelligence and bots. But as I mentioned, I have one more poll question that I want to send out, and this is just moving forward. Go ahead and answer this one. I'll leave it open for a second. Moving forward with AI and bots, do you want us to contact you? Are you interested? Are you not interested this time?